Hello, I am Alan Enraged, and this is my friend Numb Nutts.
Hello.
And we thought we'd do something a little different today. He has expressed interest in Monster Train, and I thought I'd walk him through some. Whenever you're ready, Numb Nuts.
Oh, there must be a delay through the from the video. Screen cap through Steam.
Gotcha. Alright, so we'll be watching on a slight delay.
Choose primary clan. Only two options. You can just randomize it.
Yeah, sure, randomize it.
Same. Oh, it doesn't even tell me before we go. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah, a lot of the pros play on like all random. So every run is random, but I've been trying to get a win with every combination before I start doing that. I'm getting close.
Seems like a good goal.
Yeah.
It is near Devour spells. Alright, so is each run, do you have a different boss?
The boss is the same, but they have a effect, and that effect is that the first spell you cast will have consume.
This is loud. Alright.
You press OK, and then you can modify the volume.
I don't see an OK.
Oh, you already... I'm behind you. 15 seconds, so you already pressed it.
Okay. Let's see what artifact I get. Wow. That seems really strong from... Like, I've only played that intro where you have the same two compositions, but just in reversed order. And this seems pretty strong from what I can tell.
Yeah, especially with Hellhorn units, because some of them will cost like 4. So it's really strong. You're not really playing something right now that plays a lot of spells at a time, so that Forever Flame is much more valuable for you.
Is this... Oh, okay, so I'm applying this to whatever my main hero is, which I'm not sure what that is. I guess it's just a base.
Yeah, he's basically
0.25
or 0.40 right now, so like you get to choose between the two upgrades. Believe it or not, I have never picked the Revenge Draw one, but he does have the better base stats. The Rejuvenate, on the other hand, I find to be amazing, especially you get 3 starting cards that heal 2 and apply regen, which means it's 1 mana, essentially 30 damage.
Oh, because the regen,
Yep.
like,
it procs
triggers
it,
rejuvenation.
Yeah, it procs it at the end of turn.
I really like drawing cards, so I'm kind of partial for this one.
And I'd be interested, because since I have not picked it, I'd have to think a little differently.
Alright, let's give this one a try then. I can't click on them and have them do stuff. Hearthstone has made me expect to be able to click on everything.
Hearthstone set up a lot of expectations that aren't exactly healthy.
Get an additional unit draft? This seems like a pretty high spike, giving everybody 10 extra HP essentially pretty early on, like before I get anything established. What do you think?
Yeah, it can add a lot of difficulty. It's just whether or not you think you can handle it. So let's take a look at your deck.
Oh, you can actually look at what you're going to be facing. I knew you could check the boss. I didn't realize these were
each
inspectable.
Each enemy will pop up here, and it'll tell you what effects they have. The boss is almost always important to look at, because some will completely screw over your whole strategy.
What triggers Relentless?
Relentless.
Oh, never mind. It's right there.
Oh.
I
thought you were...
Oh yeah, duh, that's the constant fight. I was thinking it was a different keyword.
I thought you were trying to say the resolve, and I was just like, I'm confused. So if you click on the top left, you can look at your deck. So it'll be a little bit different than the run you had last time, which I think was Hellhorn first.
Yeah, this is actually the same start, minus like the champion is different.
Yeah, like the very early game doesn't have too much variation.
So it's always like 4 train stewards, 5 torches, 5 restores.
Yeah, those will be the base cards, and then you'll unlock more cards that'll change how many cards are in your deck as well. So like the torches are the Hellhorn's base card, the Restore is the Awoken's base card, and then you have like up to 3 other cards that are random. And so right now it just chose between the Restore and the Torch because that's all you have unlocked.
Oh, okay.
Because usually it's 3 of each, but you have a 4 and a 5 because there's extra cards.
So my thinking is to play the Sentient in front with the Train Steward behind, and then to torch this guy. That way he's just dead.
For the first floor, you can almost never screw up, and that sounds great to me. I would definitely torch the healer just in case the other guy were to survive.
Yeah.
But let's check out your putting your Sentient down first. And of course, yeah, definitely a Train Steward behind.
Oh man, the 15-second delay is pretty killer when it comes to making the plays.
Yeah, it can be.
Because you're like,
is there
do
any
this
way,
and that. I'm like, what? I've already got it finished.
Is there any way to fix that in the settings, or is that just permanent?
Within Steam, I can check that real quick. Broadcasting settings. I'm not seeing anything in the immediate.
So in that last turn, I definitely would have used a Restore just to set up some regen.
Oh, you can use Restore while they're at max life?
Yep. And it will start setting up regen, which regen 1 wouldn't have done too much, but, you know, it still would have helped. Your guy would have had 1 more life this turn, essentially.
Right. So here I'm thinking double Train Steward on the second floor, and then to torch this thing for the 50 gold that it'll give.
Yes, so I always prioritize gold. It matters more than taking damage.
But do you agree with the double Train Steward? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Why do they cost 0?
Because all your units cost -2 from your artifact.
Oh.
So you have
I had mana on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Left over on the last one. I didn't realize that. It's, might as well stack the regen up. Okay.
Yeah, and this is a great example of stacking regen.
Nice.
I guess a benefit of the 15-second delay is that if you do get a little cocky, then I can kind of criticize a few of your maneuvers.
I mean, this one seems pretty self-explanatory to throw that up there. It's the only place that it fits. Torch that off because I guess
so I would
even double torching this wouldn't kill it because that's only 5 and 9.
Now see, like I would do something a little cocky. I would triple torch them.
This?
Yeah.
Oh. Huh. Well, we've got armor that I think comes back each run. I think I noticed that on the previous one.
I think that was just a artifact you picked up. You do not have armor this run.
Oh.
But it's alright. It's only 2 health.
Yep.
Like, you'll have a million chances to restore health.
Alright, so no point in torching the top unit then, right? So I think double torch on the second unit here? Did I lose you?
Sorry, I had muted myself for my vape. You could either do the double torch or you could do the double restore. You don't have a lot of damage on the bottom floor.
Right.
So surviving.
Yeah, right now he's
longer.
looking at taking 15 damage total between the 3 units that he'll come across. And so if we want to kill him, he's going to need to be torched up.
I think at this point, killing him is worth very little. After you do this 10 damage to him, he's only going to get 1 hit on the pyre. So you'll take a 2 damage, but the boss is coming the next round, and you have very little damage for the bottom floor. So stacking the regen will mean that your Train Steward on the bottom floor will get in more hits on the boss.
Oh, does the regen happen whenever they're doing the relentless back and forth?
Yep, at the end of every attack cycle.
Okay, so that's the play that... you're thinking?
That's what I would do. Simply because that boss will do a lot more damage than that unit. And you don't have a lot of damage in your deck right now.
Yeah, at all.
You'll have a lot of draw cards after your guy dies, but
definitely have to kill that off. Oh wow, it's actually gonna kill him.
Okay, cool. So he lived just long enough.
Interesting. Curious.
It's just he's only dealing.
Oh,
4 damage.
It doesn't show what the extra damage is.
Well, he's taking all the damage from the train steward, which means the train steward has to hit him 10 times in order to get 50 life, and you have 40 health, so he can only hit you 10 times, so he never gets to hit the train steward.
All right, let's.
And I don't know how beneficial playing quickly is for you, but in the top right there's an arrow button that will fast forward all combat, and you can keep going. You can rack it up to max.
Oh no! So what are these? As like, what is this 1,000? It's not gold.
Which 1,000? Oh, the points?
Yeah.
So like, if you were to win the run, you would get like it would be like how many points that run was worth, and obviously getting more points is better. So you lost 4% points for taking damage, but got 30% because he never made it past the first turn, which is called a 3-turn boss rush, because you beat him 3 turns faster than you necessarily would have.
Okay.
I know you like drawing cards here.
Yeah, this. So, seeing the units that were available to this faction in my previous run, I actually really like this because a lot of the units seem to have like a base 20 HP but gain an additional 40 for the max, and this lets you heal up a lot of that plus deal a ton of damage. I did enjoy this card, but our deck's already pretty light on damage. So those are my thoughts. I kind of like this guy.
And I completely agree. Restoration Detonation is, in my opinion, one of the most impactful cards in Awoken, and is a huge damage dealer, especially after upgraded. So you don't necessarily need damaging units if your spells do the job. Just remember that that final boss will start consuming our spells, so we can't completely rely on spells.
Well, that's just the final boss, right? There's nothing afterwards. If it just eats all of our spells but we kill them, it'd be okay?
Yeah, it doesn't eat them permanently. It exiles them for that round, for that fight.
Yeah.
Here, what are your thoughts on these units?
The math the Rage 3 is going to be 3, 2, and 1, so it's 6 damage. And plus, it can be put on multiple units. I think it's better than the Molten Imp. Not sure how I feel about Pierce. 5 damage burst doesn't seem too important to me. We're missing a bunch of damage in general, so I kind of like this. With like having the 5 slots, we could put in the two slot units and then this behind it, or in front of it for a punching bag. So I kind of like the Fledgling Imp. It also opens up, I got a card that let me sacrifice an imp to draw a card.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Fledgling Imp actually will start giving damage to your champion unit. So it essentially gives 6 damage to your champion unit where it wouldn't have that otherwise. Which is really helpful to you. And it has 1 capacity, so it fits on your floor after a train steward. You can pop it in the front to save your champion from a hit if necessary. Like, it just has much more utility than the Pierce does. And the 5 damage to all units would be better in a deck that already has a lot of damage but low health.
So I like the idea of getting an Awoken unit most. And I also like putting power-ups on units. So I kind of like this right path. I haven't seen any spells that are crazy powerful, and gold's cool, but yeah, I kind of like this path.
I agree. Your deck in particular is a little unit light. You would need some more damage, so you'd like to probably pick up something that either is a tank that has thorns or does damage and doesn't cost a lot of space, and so I think that's the right pick. And then plus whatever you pick up, you get to upgrade right after, which is awesome.
Alright, so sweep attacks all units when it attacks. Huh. Well,
I'm not quite there yet, so okay, all right.
Yeah, so we got 3 of 30 with an attack all units, and then a triple attack, but like no HP. Our base champion has 40 life, so this could hide behind him pretty well. I'm gonna pull up the deck. Plus, it pairs with that rage really well. So last time I played, I went all tank with boosting the tanks, but this time I'm really liking the idea of this multi-strike.
Yeah, so both the units here are really great, especially with upgrades, but I do completely agree with your reasoning that with the rage being able to hide behind a tank, that the Animus of Will is very strong. The only time the Animus of Will is going to have a downside is when paired up against Thorn's enemies. It'll die very quickly, but I don't think that's a reason not to pick it here.
That is a good point, though. I mean, this guy having 30 HP is pretty massive.
It is, and I would consider it setting up another floor, while I would consider the Animus of Will fleshing out your current floor. And so you want to think of all units as, like, in terms of floors. You're like, who's going to go in front, who's behind, and so it's just whether or not you want to do that. I think right now it is more important to flesh out your first floor, since your champion doesn't do damage.
I agree. So I took the triple strike, and I'm opening up the forge now.
All right.
Oh my goodness!
When I catch up, I'll see what's going on.
So these upgrades seem quite powerful, giving an additional 10 attack. That just has the triple strike unit's name right on it, and then I can also grant 25 HP to a unit. Which might be worth to put on that. That way it doesn't die to thorns, but then both upgrade slots will be occupied.
And I think that would be fine. Personally, I would take every single one of these upgrades here. They all work with your deck and your units. I agree with the 25 HP on the Animus of... Is it Will? I can't remember.
Yeah, but if
but if you don't do it, it opens up an upgrade in the future that you can put there, like you said. No, I would use the Endless, and can you imagine who I would want the Endless on?
I'm guessing the Imp, but I wouldn't have thought to put the Endless on. I would have passed on it.
And so I'd put the Endless there, because if you put the Imp in the front, he'll only have 1 life, but he'll give rage to everybody, and then he'll immediately die, and then next turn you draw him. So you can put more rage.
Does the Endless only trigger once per fight?
Nope, it triggers every time he dies.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's essentially a 0-cost spell that gives 3 rage to all of your units and blocks an attack.
Yeah, that seems pretty great.
It's bonkers. I love Endless Imps. It's one of my favorite parts of Hellhorned.
Yeah, I would not have seen that play. So like the 25 HP on the triple strike?
It's up to you. I don't think either option is bad, but I do like the idea of if we run into a Thorns modifier, we can put it on without feeling like we completely gimped ourselves.
Yeah, I like it.
And we'll get more units in the future to upgrade.
Non-boss enemies get 4 additional attack. I think with how tanky our units are, it would be acceptable to give our enemies an additional 4 attack.
And it gives us a unit draft. So you always kind of want to look at this about how effective this is, and we could use another unit. We do need to start setting up our second floor. The +4 damage could bite us, but this is only the second boss, and we have a lot of health that we can still sacrifice. And so you just think of it, you're paying health to get that unit, and that can pay off.
I'm also thinking that these units are pretty weak.
Yes, they are pretty weak, but pay attention to haste.
Yeah, they get to jump up to the 3rd floor, but they only have 1 health, and we already have additional draw, so we can just torch them off.
Yeah, so torch will be very important for those units, and you want to be careful not to set up too much on the second floor because not as many enemies will see the second floor.
Alright. Well, this is the dream setup. Honestly, this is what we drew it up as.
Don't you love when that happens? And like you can use all your mana, all your cards in hand.
So we want to... Oh, all these units are going to have haste. Other friendly units in the same floor gain a bonus. Oh, so we kill him and then haste goes away.
Yep.
Okay. What is this 2? Oh, they have bonus attack. Okay. That's a pretty crazy combination.
Yeah, I like it. I think you've pulled some really strong cards.
Yeah, I would have totally missed that though. So, do I want to bolt this guy so that these lose haste and then play the train steward in the middle to get the collector?
You can do it either way. All the enemies on the bottom floor are going to die anyway. I still like the idea of bolting the haster, or even one of the other units that deal more damage, just to reduce how much damage your tank takes.
Yeah. Good point.
Because bolting that guy is worth more than the 3 health the restore is going to give you right now.
Yeah. So his units attack before my units attack, right? So the imp will not get to attack?
The imp will not attack, no. It's right now, it's just a 9 damage shield.
Gotcha. Alright. Then yeah, I like that play. Whoa. Not you. You. Although I guess I get to play everything.
Yeah, that's your starting artifact has been super helpful. For tempo.
And these rage stacks with triple strike. This just seems... this is just insane. We got a reprieve even. Stack all the train stewards on the top floor?
Yep. Why not? Because the boss will most likely also have haste, and if for some reason you aren't able to kill him, which I'm pretty sure he'll die, I don't see him making it past your first floor, but just in case, it's good to set up.
Yeah, that's...
I'd put you on the second, yeah. Yeah, and then just heal up, and what an amazing first or second run. And then you can just press end turn here, yeah. You don't even need to do anything.
Oh well. Restore 2 health.
And he did have spikes, if you notice, so you would not have killed him anywhere near as quickly if you'd not gotten that health buff.
Yep. So we've got another attack bonus with HP. This seems to pair really well with that multi-strike. I don't know if we want to try to go all in on multi-strike though. Restore 2 health to all units and deal 2 damage to all enemy units. Seems... And that's just per the floor, as it says. But that doesn't seem too useful to me. 4 attack with 4 spikes. This could be pretty good to put on our champion.
I actually do really like Glimmer. I don't think it fits this deck, but it is one of the cards I like the most. So I think the choice is definitely between the Steel Enhancer or the Sharpen. The Steel Enhancer, you could play it on anybody, really, and it does pair great with the Multi-Striker, but so does the Sharpen, and it applies the spikes, and you can always add it to your champion as well.
Yeah.
And it have a little bit more utility. So I do think the Sharpen is slightly better.
But Sharpen is where I was landing because our artifact is making it so we have tons of additional mana.
Yeah.
And
I would want to reduce the mana of that spell in the future, but as of right now, it's not a hindrance at all. And with how much card draw you're getting from your champion, you're guaranteed to see it just about every other turn.
None of these seem that impressive to me. I would actually kind of think about taking the 10 gold.
So if you take the 10 gold, you obviously don't get a card, and it keeps your deck thinner. And so it is a very valuable play to do. If I were to pick anything here, it would be the Imp, but it's not necessary at the current moment, because the only thing he's going to be buffing is Train Stewards, because we don't have a second floor set up.
Yeah, and if you play him in front, then he's going to buff himself.
Which isn't bad. Then it's a 16 health blocker, but I think it's perfectly acceptable to skip.
Yeah, we'll try skipping. Last time I ended up dying with a ton of extra gold on hand.
And there's nothing wrong with that. One of my favorite artifacts is just all about having a ton of extra gold on hand, and so I try to build for it every game.
This guy gaining 5 armor at the end of every turn makes him pretty strong to put on the second floor.
I would actually put him on the top floor, just because it's an extra turn before enemies get to him. And I do think he's a great setup for another floor.
So this guy, since we don't have another major tank, I think he's kind of off the table. I am interested in this guy as well, but I think that Steelworker is ultimately the best.
Yeah, so since our current setup is on the bottom floor, the sweep isn't as useful, because I think sweep is more powerful on the first floor. We could move your tank to the second floor, your tank setup, but I also don't think that's as useful. So Steelworker is a great setup that can start gaining armor to tank for whatever we decide to put behind it on the top floor.
Alright. Don't need to heal, so...
On the other hand, the Horned Warrior is really good, and you can always pop those Train Stewards in front of it. But I do think the Steelworker is the play.
Alright, since we don't need a heal, I don't value an artifact nearly as high as I value a unit plus whatever is going to be in this Frozen Helvent. And does duplicating keep all of the unit buffs that we've already put on it?
Yes, it does, and I love it so much.
Wow. Alright, so this side it is.
Yeah, so I tend to almost always go for whatever side does not have the health if I'm not missing more than 20 health, because it's just a complete waste. So I would love the artifact here, but you're getting 2 things rather than 3. And it's just bad.
Yeah, and really it's only 1, since getting 2 HP is nothing. So, I've noticed that sometimes the order matters on these.
Yeah, so I generally will do... Concealed Caverns is very important. But depending on what it does, it is probably better to get whatever unit is first. Just in case it's an upgrade thing, and whatever we get, we want it to upgrade.
Okay.
So
what can be found within the caverns?
There are so many things, and I do not have enough knowledge to memorize all of them. But you can get cards, you can upgrade champions, you can get artifacts, you can get gold. It's basically just this big, random, amazing stuff, because I love them so much.
Wow.
Alright, so, I think the pick is super obvious here.
I think it's a 50-50.
Yep, it would be the 50-50. And it would almost never be the 50-50, because the 50-50
yeah, because at 4 you wouldn't be able to pay for it.
Exactly. But you can pay for him for 2.
Wow.
The Slay guy is also really good, but you just can't pass up a 2-cost 50-50. That still has 2 upgrade slots.
Alright, so now we see what we get in the cavern?
Sounds good to me. And so, when you click on the cavern, it'll start doing a train animation. If you double click, it'll speed up that animation.
Alrighty.
It's just all about going fast, baby.
So last time I got this, I didn't like any of them. Reasoning being, you don't want to use the calcified ember unless you're like fighting a late game boss, so it's just going to bog down your deck up until then. The dead weight is just, I mean, it's unplayable and purgeable, so it's dead weight. And getting the extra damage, I don't know. It would be nice to put 3 extra damage on our multi-strike guy, but I don't think it's nice enough for the bad draws. And then the broken shards do net you positive HP, but again, it's at the cost of having one initial bad cycle through your deck.
Yeah, and
so I kind of like leaving on these, but I'm sure there's got to be some strategy that makes this.
Yeah, and so like I think it completely depends on playstyle, but my favorite is the Penitent Remains. You don't need to grab it, but when you start getting higher Covenant rank, the Massive Stone's the second one. When you start to get higher Covenant rank, you start with Blight cards in your deck. And so what's the harm in adding more to get a huge buff for them? But it would be 3 extra attack on your multi-striker, 3 attack on your tank. But leaving is perfectly acceptable too. Like, it keeps your deck thin, your draws are more consistent, especially at such a low Covenant rank where you're not already bogged down by those cards.
Alrighty.
My favorite one isn't even on here, but it gives you an extra energy per turn for every 2 Blight cards, and then it gives you 1 Blight card. So I already start the game with 1, and it gives me 1, so I just get an extra energy per turn.
I mean, I think the duplicate has to be on the Demon Fiend, right?
See, the Demon Fiend takes up 3 space, so if you do that, he will not be able to be on the same floor as like your other Demon Fiend. He could be on the same floor as your champion. So it'd be setting up the second floor, which is not a bad pick. But the Animus of Will has 2 upgrades on it and is really strong. So you could actually put the Animus of Will behind the Demon Fiend, and then you have a super strong floor set up there.
Yeah, I was thinking 39 damage and 28 HP versus 50-50.
Right.
But it is important to note that it does take an extra slot.
Yeah. And I don't think the Demon Fiend works as great on the same floor as the guy who gains armor every turn. So I would put like this combination, Demon Fiend plus Animus of Will, on the second floor while the top floor is gaining armor, and we find something else to put behind it. Alternatively, you can get a copy of the Fledgling Imp that's endless and just start stacking Rage on another floor. So
if the
Restoration Detonation is also a good card. I would prefer it to have upgrades first. But I do personally think the best pick is the Animus of Will, even though the Demon Fiend is more damage and more health. It's all about fleshing out those floors.
Huh. Interesting.
But whichever pick you would go with, because neither is a bad pick.
Yeah, I think I'm partial towards Demon Fiend. He does play the same role as the other guy that we picked up.
Yeah.
But he just does it better.
He does, and we can always remove that other guy from the deck if we get enough gold or the opportunity.
Yeah, after removing Train Stewards.
Right. It's always best to have a card that might have been useful than to not grab a card that might have been useful.
Yeah, I think I'll see what happens with this Demon Fiend.
Sounds good to me. Because hopefully you don't draw them both in the same turn.
If we do, we do.
Yeah, it probably won't happen.
I don't know, we've got lots of extra draws.
It's true, but hopefully you would have had set up your floors already.
Double barrels explode twice.
I mean, after this battle, we'll pause the video.
Sounds good.
So this is my least favorite modifier to this boss because it's just 20 damage per turn. So those explosives are a real high priority for your torches whenever they're on a floor that you've already set up.
Oh. Oh, we don't want a Demon Fiend behind this guy.
Yeah, I would not Demon Fiend behind your champion. I don't think it's as beneficial as the Animus of Will.
I agree.
But you can always set him up on another floor. Your Sentient will take a bunch of damage this turn. But I would consider putting the Fledgling Imp in front of the Sentient to block 1 damage. And your guy will start killing some of these units.
So I think we just put the Demon Fiend on top floor to avoid taking 20 from the bomb.
Yeah, you can. You do have a 10 health heal. But betting for that is probably not smart, and you have another Demon Fiend in the deck, so it's not that big a deal. So top floor is probably best. And then I would start stacking restores on your champion. A restore anyway. Because it's just 1 less damage they take.
Man, getting all those extra draws is nice. So we can torch the bomb, play a Demon Fiend.
If you felt the need for it. I think just taking 20 damage here isn't that big a deal, and we should look at our other options first. It might still be the play.
We get to do Steelworker Demon Fiend on second story.
Which is a pretty good start. Do you know which one you'd put in front?
Oh, I mean, you get to take more advantage of the armor if you put it in front, but then he's likely to die faster. So,
I think him in behind is more beneficial, even though he does less damage. Because he'll start getting tanky as long as he doesn't start getting hit. Otherwise, he's just prevent 5 damage per turn. Which isn't a bad pick. But the Demon Fiend being really tanky, you've got those burst heals, which will kill an enemy when you use them as well. So having a target for those heals is pretty good. Alright,
So the last card, this guy's going to survive. All of these guys are going to survive. So I'm kind of inclined to torch one of these back people on the bottom floor.
I think torching the bomb is actually the right play. It's the most impactful in the moment because it prevents 20 damage rather than torching a guy who I believe he has rage, so he's going to lose 2 damage, so he's only going to deal 1 damage next turn. So the most impactful right now would be torching the bomb.
I can also see healing the champion here.
Yeah,
because I don't think he will die.
Yeah, it's low impact, and you still have your big heal, but it's not a bad choice because your champion is the most important unit.
Yeah, I think realistically we're like trying to min-max something that is so minor it's not gonna matter.
Right. So, but like that's essentially what this last mana is like which of these things is more impactful? And I do always like keeping the champion alive when you can.
Here we go. Now we're cooking. Alright. It's the Animus of Will because that's just kind of our combo.
Yep.
Go ahead and heal up our guy for 10.
And it's unfortunate that it took that long to get there.
Yeah, with all the bonus draws and everything. Just shows that we really need to find the trimming cards. So, here, it's kind of a toss-up between nuking the bomb and playing Sharpen. Might as well go ahead and throw the Train Steward. Did we just put him in front? So he dies?
I'm not quite what floor you're on. Yeah, he'll die eventually. Yeah, I'd put him in front.
Just because the Train Stewards are just
garbage. Right?
Kind of, yeah.
So yeah, I'd put him in front. If any enemies do get up there, they have to go through him before they start chipping away at your big guy. I do think the play on the bottom is the sharpen,
Yeah, because we want him to die.
and you can either do it on the champion or the animus. Either one is just buttloads of extra damage.
Yeah, let's throw it on the animus. Oh, I didn't pay attention to how the boss's damage taken this round was affected.
It matters, but not too much. Like, it's just nice that you're getting that chip damage in to make the infight a little bit more manageable, which I don't think he'll make it past the first floor.
At this rate, it's not looking like chip damage. We're straight up rocking him.
Yep, you have a very strong deck at the start.
You mentioned that there was an achievement for killing him before he even gets into land. I'm kind of tempted to try to push for that.
Yeah, if you do that, I would definitely torch the bomb there, because you'll do a lot more damage to him.
Oh,
can't. No, you won't. The damage is done no matter what, but it reduces the damage your guy takes. So.
Yeah, I was thinking I could imp on the second floor, but we maxed that floor out, so that's not a play.
Yep, big boys.
Yeah, that would get him dangerously low, so we will nuke him off. Then the last two spells. Oh my goodness, this
You can play out your whole hand
cheap,
if you have the space for it. I'm pretty sure the next fight is him actually starting the fight, but you got really close to killing him.
I think we killed him.
Oh yeah, he's on top now. You just get 5 more damage to the top, and alright, so if you torch him and imply a sharpen on the top floor, you kill him and get the achievement.
Nice.
Which I have not yet managed to do.
Daedalus. Oh.
I guess he
Rare pack.
He flew too close to the sun.
Major enhancements. Did the 4-turn boss rush alter what our spoils were?
I don't think it altered your spoils, but it did give you an extra 10% points, which is pretty cool.
I still don't know what the points are for.
It's just your score, like
how
well you did that game. They all add up at the end. Alright, let's see what cool things you got.
I am a
this
fan
is
of Channel
super
Song.
obvious. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would be really good if you get it on one of your big boys.
Yeah, like, if you happen to draw the multi-strike...
Anybody but a train steward. If we grab that, we really need to prioritize removing those train stewards.
So it's even strong with the train steward, because then you get like a 25, 28.
That's true. It just feels bad, man.
It does waste
Imagine it on your animus, though, like...
Oh, yeah. This does waste the 0, since our artifact does that, but we do have the 2 big demons that it can hit.
Yeah, like, I think it's good all around, but it's really weird that you pointed that out, because I was straight up thinking the obvious pick was Unleash the Wildwood. It's just another heal, but, yeah.
Yeah, I like Channel Song here.
I think the only thing that's not a pick here is the Impolate.
Yeah, if we had taken another imp, then this could be useful, because, I mean, dealing 30 damage to a target, or 45, and then with how, like, our champions increasing the draw, like, this could be strong, but
it's a great card. Especially, there's an artifact that makes you, every turn, you get a random imp to your hand, so, and that adds to the number of imps in your deck. It can do crap tons of damage, it's just not for this deck. So yeah, I think the picks are between Channel Song and the other one, and you have very good points for the Channel Song. Hey, look, an imp guy. We don't have...
I wish we went with the imp.
Yeah, it's a big boy. That is a big boy. Obviously, we're not picking Demon Fiend. And I also don't think we have space for the Husk Hermit, so I think this is a skip. What do you think?
Skip is attractive. I was thinking we could go with the Husk Hermit, because if we do start trimming our deck, we can start trimming the train stewards immediately, but we would still want units in the deck.
It's true, but we do have units, and I think that since we have the 2 Demon Fiends, we're looking for 1 unit to go behind the Demon Fiend, and I just don't think the Husk Hermit is strong enough to go behind him.
Yeah.
He's
He's
a better front unit.
This is a floor, and then the 2 Demon Fiends are separate floors,
And then,
1 Steelworker, and then we need 1 other unit.
Which
if we don't.
Yeah, the Steelworker is kind of a dead card because he's not strong enough as well. I view him and the Husk Hermit as the same role to go in front and eventually get strong.
So we are looking for 2 back-end units, which I guess none of these are. So yeah, Skip seems good to me too.
Yeah, but if we find another duplicate, I think the Animus of Will is an obvious pick.
Yes. Yep. Agreed. All right, so let's skip this one. What are enhancements?
All right, so this is just an artifact, and it's all, you always get to pick between these 3 artifacts after the first 2 bosses.
So this is every run you get this?
Yes. After beating Daedalus and after beating Fel, you choose between these 3. So you can get the same one twice or any combination of 2. What do you think the best pick is here?
On my last play, I took the +1 draw, which I was a huge fan of. But in this scenario, I'm actually tempted to go with either the mana or the increased floor. An increased floor, for the time being, would allow us to potentially have the Demon Fiend with something behind it and do the Imp trick if we need to do that on a different floor, which seems unlikely, but it's an option. The additional mana also seems pretty valuable with our champion giving us so many additional draws, and that's kind of why I'm thinking the additional mana in this run.
And so I have the exact same reasoning for the 2 picks, but I'm leaning towards the opposite pick because of the Imp thing. I think that you could pick whichever one you want and not be wrong, but the way I was thinking is that we could pick up more Imps and they could go in front on other floors. But the energy is always a factor. Do you want to keep casting all the spells you draw? Like, both are great picks, but I do lean towards Imps, and that's because I have an Imp bias where I really like Imps.
Seems like we've got a...
But I think we could beat the run with either pick.
I think we've got like a Voltron-esque, for like Magic terms, putting all of our eggs in one basket. We're just like building up these super units. I mean, that is another thing to keep in mind. Both of the Demon Fiends are unupgraded at the moment.
Yep, we're going to have to start upgrading them, and we have plenty of gold to do like a full upgrade on 2 units. So, and I don't see any point to us upgrading our spells right now. The only spell upgrades I would want is extra magic power on the Restoration Detonation and a reduced cost on the Sharpen. A double stack on the Sharpen would be really nice as well. Double stack would change it from 4 spikes to 8 spikes.
I haven't seen a spell augment yet. Like, I've seen the option, but I haven't ever gone on that side of the train tracks.
And that is because, for the most part, Hellhorned and Awoken are very unit-based. Awoken is definitely more spell-based than Hellhorned, but it completely depends on your style of play. So yeah, I still think that you could pick either one of these, so whichever one you're more comfortable with picking.
Analysis paralysis. Let's take the mana. We've already got a lot of draw. I think it pairs well with the draw power.
Yeah, I don't think the draw is the pick, and I very rarely pick it, even on like spell-based runs.
Well, I guess this is it for part 1.
Yep, we'll catch you next time. Hope if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe.